Well,
Here he is,
who we
9
have
minutes
here.
late.
Wow.
You're 9 minutes
wow.
late.
Damn, take the guy away
Are we sure
from
it's
Belichick,
Devin?
and
Are
he
we
doesn't
sure it's
know what
Devin?
the clock
It's
is.
the Super Bowl. You're not supposed to go on time to anything, right?
Well, no, you are when you're supposed to be a three-person hosting of a show.
You're supposed to stay up late and then like wake up.
I
and,
stayed
like,
up late, and I had lots to do last night.
hey, look,
Well, I'm not used to working so
Look.
many days in a row.
His defense is he's in the Bad Habits Club, according to his shirt. And one of the
Bad
bad
Habits Club.
habits is
I'm trying to
don't
live
show
up
up
to
all
that.
the time.
I'm trying to live
Yeah.
up, man.
You look very fresh and wide-eyed, so that's not a good
It's the
excuse.
thing about being bald, bro. It all flows. It all
Damn,
flows.
I can't believe you did this to us. I mean, we put you on the rundown. We got 3 seats here, and you just like literally just said,
I know
"Man,
you guys
screw
are on it
these
too.
guys."
Florio was like, "You're 9 minutes late,
Screw
not
these
10,
guys.
not 9." Like he was on point.
But at what point this morning did you just go, the hell with Florio and Sims, I'm going to be late?
No.
When did
like,
that happen?
It was a lot happening. Like New England's adding people to their staff, and they're doing different things. I'm talking to some of my guys. I'm like, hey,
what are you running the organization now?
I was sitting behind RKK.
Do your job, all right?
Sitting behind RKK at Honors last night, and I was like, these seats are pretty good. And I saw he was in front of me. I tapped him. I said, oh, my seats are really good.
Damn.
I'm behind
If
you.
you're behind
like,
him, that's like de facto
I
commissioner.
didn't know my brother had that kind of weight at NFL Network.
Damn.
I didn't know he was doing that.
Right.
I don't think he's that good on air.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't expect
We're
that.
about to take your ass off air, too, okay? We're being late. Can't believe it, man.
Can he curse on here, Florio?
Yeah.
Like, this
What
is
do you
your
mean, can
thing.
he?
Can I?
No.
I do.
I gave
Of
up
course I do.
7 years
I try
ago.
to watch the F word a little, right? And then
Tries.
I apologize to our viewers in the UK always. So
But
that's
we're
kind of
live
a funny
this
joke.
week.
I can respect
We're
that.
live this week. It's not
Can't
taped.
control
Everything's
So
live.
I say shit, and then I
Yeah,
say
exactly.
sorry,
And they
Manchester.
say sorry, Manchester.
Right?
Or Birmingham.
Or Birmingham.
Because we're live on Sky Sports. We got a big, for some reason, we got a big following in the
What
UK.
do you mean for some reason? Because of you.
Well, no.
Breaking
they
news. It's
like,
not Sims.
No,
It's
no,
not like-
they like that we just say whatever we want to say. That it's not corporate, it's not sanitized. We just are who we are, and they like that. They do.
I can
We've
respect
heard it
that.
over the years.
And sitting next to these heavy-handed quarterbacks, him and Jason Garrett, every time they touch me, I'm like,
Yeah, I know. I'm
Traumatized.
better you than me.
yeah.
You see Gronk and Edelman walking around? They were walking around.
Because I was late, I rushed over here. Me and Jules, we need to have words.
Okay.
He talked bad about me when he first got on Fox. He talked about me wearing my 3 Super Bowl rings for our first game. He's
Damn.
Like, act like you've been there, buddy. And I was
Right.
like, this little 5'8" receiver. Like, who you think you
yeah,
talking
right,
to?
right.
Yeah, so.
All right, well, let me know.
That's
if
good.
need-
You guys can gang up on because he's got an issue with Sims.
He got mad at me because I made some comment about, some of this.
All right, we got to move on. Hey, we're tired. Tell us to move along.
Performance-enhancing drugs back in the
Moving
day. He
along.
wasn't
We're
happy
moving along.
about
All
it.
right. The boss says move
Yeah.
along. We move along.
I
Okay,
gotta tell
let's talk
him.
about the Super Bowl. Super Bowl's in 2 days. What are you thinking?
All right, yeah, let's hear it. Where are we leaning? We'll give you some framework, right? When you're thinking Niners D, Chiefs O, right? Kind of what's your first base thought on the game here?
My first thought is the Niners can't play as much zone
That they've
as
been
they
doing.
usually play.
Right.
Especially watching through the playoffs, it's a lot of 2 safeties deep.
People getting
Cover
cleared
four,
out,
and I'm
big
just
crossers.
My whole thing is when you watch Mahomes and you watch Kelsey, like watching Kelsey against zone, we used to always, Coach Belichick used to stand in front of the room and he goes, he runs to not get covered. It doesn't matter where he's supposed to break in or out in the route.
Right.
If he sees where you are in the zone, he'll go the other way.
Right.
Like that won't be the route, that won't be the pattern. We won't talk about it all week. He's going to go the other way. And I think when you play against a receiver, a quarterback, a tight end, and they understand that
Right.
at a high level like these guys, if you sit in zone, they're going to
gonna find the spot.
They're going to kill you.
Right.
Like the great quarterbacks, I've always thought you can't do what you normally do every week
Right.
because they've studied that, they know what's coming, and they're going to pick it apart.
More aggressive, more curveballs to make Mahomes and Reed adjust.
And it doesn't mean you have to sit up there and man every snap.
Right.
But it has to be maybe 2 safeties deep, 1 safety deep, man-to-man, zone blitz. Like,
Right.
it has to be, and I think that's what I've always loved about the Super Bowl. You have 2 weeks to prepare.
Yeah, right.
You have a chance to now play against a team, and they won't know what's coming. We played the Rams Super Bowl 53. We were like 90% man-to-man. We played 80% zone in the game.
Do you think defense has more of an advantage in the game? And look, in a lot of ways, I do sometimes because of what you're saying. Do you feel through that 2 weeks did you feel better that week? Going, I feel more confident we're going to have more curveballs than they will.
I think defensive coordinators don't care as much as offensive coordinators. Like on the flip side, Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers do so many different things,
Right.
motioning,
Right.
Debo's in the backfield. But they have to prepare for Spags, right? How many blitzes is he sending? I think Kyle Shanahan in the offense will be like, whoa, we need to make sure what they're doing first before we do different things. And I think Spag's going to be like, to a certain extent, they're going to do a lot of shit. We're just going to go.
Yeah.
And I think offensive coordinators, because of the quarterback position, they want to know, like being in New England, Tom wanted to know every coverage you ran. Like he wanted to know before he went and got under center.
Right.
So you had to be like, all right, let's start a little vanilla. And I think Kansas City would be like, oh, let's just let it rip. Like,
what was the 2 weeks like with Belichick?
It was always the first week was we're going. When we're back in New England, we're going to practice hard. We're going to be running hills. We're going to be full pads. We're going to do all of that. And then once we get to the playing city that we're playing in, it's going to be dialed back. Like that Super Bowl 53, we had like 3 glorified walkthroughs. And he was like, we already did this. We practiced like 4 or 5 days already for this game. We're going to keep doing small things. It's not going to be about running and getting your legs. It's going to be about being fresh, mentally locked in.
Right.
And I thought that was one of the, especially as a defense, that was one of the best Super Bowls we played because we switched up what we were doing a little bit.
Right.
And all of the walkthroughs, it wasn't about full speed. It was walking through, seeing it.
If
all
they
right,
do
this is what they
you
might
do that.
Exactly.
Right?
So when we got out there, everybody was like, man, I'm tired of practice.
Right.
We can't wait to hit these guys,
Right.
do what we need to do, and it was awesome.
So first week intense, second week, and when you're talking like walkthroughs, you're talking like, I think I remember a few of these back when I was working there, like we're talking like 2-hour walkthroughs,
Yes,
right? I think people think
long.
it's like, oh, it's 30 plays. and
No,
we're out of there.
it was.
It's detailed.
And then if you
it's
were on
talking
offense
about.
with Brady, he was like, hey, babe, I got to get my timing down. So
Right.
on this route, can you run a
Just
little
run
bit?
it for me.
So
They called him Babe.
30 minutes, 45 minutes into the practice, you look on the opposite field as a defense, you're like, oh, the offense is practicing today.
Tom's got him running.
Tom's got him going.
They're doing post corners
And what
over
I
there.
always loved about it was Jules would be the only guy that would be cursing Tom out. Like,
Oh, right.
Bro, it's a walkthrough. Like, I'm not running over there. And you'll be like, all right, Jules and Tom are going. It'll be hilarious.
That's great. All right, so I know you hit on it a little, but hit on a little more of the 49ers offense, Chiefs defense angle. So, like, from what I took right there, what you were saying, you think the 49ers should come out a little bit and be like, hold on, let's just see what they're going to do to us on this side of the ball.
I always think as an offense, you think of the defense can ruin the game. Right. So if you have a motion and you're not sure, is McDuffie coming on this blitz or is McDuffie staying or is Justin Reed now coming down from safety and he's about to blitz and he's playing the linebacker?
Right.
Like you're not 100% sure of what they might throw at you. And I just think offensive coordinators, the first thing to like, a strip sack right here would kill us.
Right.
They, like that's how they think.
You're right. They think about I don't want a disaster
What's the
here to
worst
start the
thing
game.
that'll
Right.
happen?
Right.
Like how do I screw Brock Purdy?
Right.
And the second series of the game, they throw a blitz in that every week we've studied this look.
Yeah.
And they've always been cover 2 out of this look. And they decide to blitz because they know we haven't seen it. They're breaking a tendency. And now we're sitting here. It's the middle of the first quarter and we're down 7 zips strictly because strip sack, scoop and score. Like I just think they think about that more than anything.
I think you're right. So you've basically so far kind of said, like, doesn't it sound like to you like the 49ers need to adjust more than the Chiefs?
Yeah.
It's probably because of me playing defense.
Yeah, right.
I believe that as much as offense wants to dictate the things, I think the defense can scare especially really good offensive coordinators and quarterbacks.
Who think about everything.
More, I just think like, now the hard part about playing these guys are once they know, they know.
Yeah.
And as a defense, you're like, shit.
Right. That's why we see sometimes games explode maybe in the second half of the Super Bowl because they're like, all right, we got a little list here. The first 2 quarters, right? Every time we got in this formation, they played us like this. We got to feel now.
We've never talked about Brock Purdy being like this elite, dynamic guy that when he sees he can run and get escaping out of the pocket. And I just felt like against Detroit, they went in and they were like, hey, they're doing this to us in the secondary.
Right.
If you see something, just go.
Yeah, right.
Like, get outside the pocket, make them move. And next thing you know, we're watching, we're like,
Man,
Brock Purdy's
run.
making plays like he's running.
Right.
Because I think because they have so many guys upstairs watching, like Kyle Shanahan, as great as he is, they're like, hey, man, like, trust me, like, do this. And once they do that, it's hard to now defensively get to a third or fourth option of different calls you might have.
So, Dev, what would Belichick and the Patriots defense do after seeing Purdy do what he did in the NFC Championship, run it 3 times, important spots, gain yards? How do you prepare for that possibility? Because if you do, it's going to take away something else you're trying to do.
So one of the things that we ran, especially in third down, like when quarterbacks are killing you running, which Purdy did against Detroit, we would run a coverage called one robber, where the safety would be in the middle of the field. He's trying to take away all the 15 to 20-yard
It's man-to-man everywhere.
Yes.
Right. The guy in the middle.
One safety's low and one safety's high.
deep.
Yes,
Right.
and we would sit there, and that was usually my job. So if a receiver came in my area, I could tell a corner, cut. I'd take him, and you would replace me.
Replace you, right.
When Purdy starts running, Bill's going to come in, and it's going to be a lot of colorful language. He's like, do you see the quarterback? He's fucking going. And we would turn that into one shadow.
Right.
Now it's you can't cut anybody. Those guys have to cover as soon as the quarterback goes to run, go get him.
You go get him.
So the Cam Newtons we played against, the Josh Allens, there was no one robber.
So
It
you're
was
there
all
as a
one
robber
shadow.
spot, but you're really watching the quarterback.
How can I make the quarterback think
I'm covering this crosser?
and as soon as he leaves,
I'm after
use
you.
my speed and I go
Right.
get you.
Yeah.
And I think Purdy's that kind of guy that you can't just put a guy 5 yards away and say, get him when he runs, because he's going to stay back there and throw
Right.
the
Yeah,
ball.
throw
He
the
has
ball.
no
And
problem
you're giving up a
doing
guy
it.
to do it. It's
Right.
like giving up a
Exactly.
chess
Right.
piece.
But if you stay 15 yards deep, make him think you're in the coverage, now he goes, you can go and use your speed to get him before he gets the first down.
And the challenge athletically for the person playing that position is to not get so focused on the possibility of running that you lose sight of the guy you're supposed to cover, because if you do, then that guy's open.
Yeah, like don't be inching up and be around 8 yards and it's 3rd and 12, because Purdy's just going to throw the ball over your head and it's going to be a first down.
Right.
That's the problem with athletic, good quarterbacks. I played against Josh Allen for a long time. Like, everyone will criticize some of the mistakes he made. It was really hard playing against him, because if you stayed at 15 yards, he ran, and then it was like, good luck. It's 3rd and 9.
Right.
You're meeting him at 8 yards.
Right.
Good luck him not falling forward.
Yeah.
So then you start to cheat up because you know you have to tackle him.
Right.
He throws the ball
He throws
over
a
your
laser
head.
over your
It's
head.
like,
Right.
what are we supposed to do? And I
Right.
think Purdy's not Josh Allen, but
Yeah.
I think Purdy now, as a defense, the great defensive minds, once
Right.
he starts running, they're like,
They're there now. Their heads
what are we
there.
going to do?
Right.
He can run. He can
Right.
do all of these things. And I think that puts a lot more pressure on your defense now.
You're doing a great job of breaking the game down. I'm learning a lot from you. I want to hear more too on, like, what's it do to a defense, like a guy like, you kind of hit on the 49ers, feel the Chiefs out, right? I've been saying all week, I feel like McCaffrey, I mean, this is not groundbreaking, is of course the jack of all trades, and I feel like pass game could be like a problem, because Spags wants to blitz all of a sudden, then he motions out.
Who keeps an eye on McCaffrey?
Who keeps an eye on McCaffrey? How are they going to match up? Oh, we had a blitz. Now, wait, he's not there and he's going out. What do we do? Right? So talk about the stresses of a guy like that on a defense.
And I thought that was interesting, because I did an interview and somebody was like, what happens if they stop the run? And I was like, that doesn't really mean anything for San Francisco.
Right.
Because why not just now flank McCaffrey out or get him out of the backfield? And now I put Deebo Samuel in motion, and now he's my running back, because the unique thing about the Super Bowl is I'm no longer thinking about Deebo Samuel making it through the year.
Right.
I have one game. If he gets 15
Great point.
carries in
Right.
the game,
Who cares?
I don't care.
We got no game next
He has
week.
all offseason
Right.
to rest. So
Right.
I think with McCaffrey, it's where's he aligned? Where's he going to be? And then do you feel comfortable if we go man-to-man that all these guys run vertical, and now I'm left with
Nick Bolton underneath on
Nick
him.
Bolton.
Right.
I'm left with Tranquil one-on-one
Right.
with Christian McCaffrey. These guys are great players at
Yeah.
linebacker. Like
Right.
Nick Bolton, I think the
It's
world of as
all
a player.
pro-ish, right? We agree.
Tranquil has been awesome
Really
this year,
good,
but
right. It's
I don't want you
McCaffrey in
one-on-one with
space.
McCaffrey.
Right,
I don't want
right.
you to. So I think the way Kyle Shanahan will be able to use McCaffrey, no matter if you stop the run or not, he can have a huge impact on the game.
Right.
Is there any way to really stop Patrick Mahomes, though? What can you really do?
I just think of it as that guy that, as a defense, you're confident, but in the back of your mind, you're always like, man, like, he's going to do something, and we're going to think we're in good shape, and then he's going to do something in the end of the game. Like, you're always like, we got to be up 10 points, 10 or more. Like, if it's 7, if it's less than 7, we lose.
Right.
If it's 7, he ties the game,
Right.
and analytics tell you to go for the win and all
Yeah,
that
right.
nonsense. But no matter what, you're just like, we don't want him to end up with the ball in his hands and we have to play defense. Like, you'll never say that in any interview.
Yeah.
But being a defensive guy, I watch other teams when we had Brady on our sideline,
right.
and we're going out there. Like, I saw Cam Jordan walk over in 2013. We played the Saints, and Drew Brees, they have the ball going against us.
Right.
It's like a minute and something change, and we get a 3rd down stop, and they have to punt, and now it's like 45 seconds left.
And you guys march right down.
and he throws a
Ball
touchdown to
Gronk,
Kimbrell
or
Tompkins.
It was Kimbrell Tompkins.
To
yeah.
KT,
Right.
and you're like, it was like 13 seconds left,
Right.
and we had blew a third down earlier in the drive, and the corners on our team, he's going nuts on the side. I was like, bro, relax.
Yeah,
We got Brady.
Well, I was saying this to him this week, right, and earlier, because I was echoing the amazing stuff you're talking about Mahomes. And defensive coordinators I have talked to over the last 6 to 7 weeks, it's the first time I heard, Mahomes is different than Brady, but they were like, this is New England and Brady, like what they got working right now.
It's that
It's just like
mystique.
you'll do whatever they got to do to win the game. They don't care how it looks, like you guys did, right? We got to win the Super Bowl 13-3, so what?
Whatever it is.
I know it's not sexy to the fans, but we win the Super Bowl and we got a ring and a trophy, right? But I heard that a lot. To me, I thought that was interesting, that it was like defensive coordinators are starting to go, if he gets the ball late, it's kind of inevitable.
Was that not Baltimore last week?
Yeah.
Like in the AFC Championship?
Right.
We're watching the game. We're like, this defense is incredible.
Right.
And then you watch the first 2 drives, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, they went right down the field, 7 points, 14 points. It's
Right.
14-7 out of nowhere. And it's like, they haven't gotten a stop yet for Baltimore. And they played better in the second half, but it was like, the way Kansas City started the game, it set a tone.
Yes.
And then they kicked the field goal and it's 17 points, and you're like, 17 points won't be
too
enough.
much. Yeah.
It won't be enough to
Right.
beat Baltimore.
Right.
And you're like, it's going to be enough.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Defense
goodness.
makes
It's going to be
plays.
enough.
Yeah.
Like, this is incredible. So I think when teams play against these quarterbacks, Mahomes, the Bradys, it's like, we never know what we have to do to win.
Right.
And that's why we hate playing against them.
Right.
And what you are pointing out is one of the reasons why analytics has limits. Because you cannot quantify that feeling of, oh God.
Yep.
Like, here it comes.
We're down 28-3.
Yeah.
And Atlanta's talking so much trash going off the field. It goes 20-28. We kick the ball off. They're
in
touch
fear.
back.
They're-
and we're like, hey, where you going? You have nothing to say now, because they knew. They were like, oh my goodness. If they get a stop right now and Brady gets the ball back down 8, it's over for us.
Right.
And we got to stop.
Right.
And then it sucks because you're on the wrong side of history, but you're watching, and that's what I love about being in the media now. You always win.
Yeah.
So now you get to watch, and instead of being like, oh my goodness, we're going to lose, you're like, wow, this guy's incredible. Like, you enjoy seeing it, and like that's how it was defensively when he got the ball. Tom got the ball at the end of the fourth quarter, and then overtime, we're at the coin toss, and Slater goes heads, and I was like, oh, it's heads, we won. I was like, they're not.
No,
They're
they
not
were
stopping
out on
him.
their
Like,
feet.
it's and you don't give yourself a shot, because for you, it's like, yo, we're going against Thanos. Like, this guy is going to get the last thing he needs to get another ring.
Getting that last jewel.
He's getting
and now
it's
over.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's what makes 49 so impressive, because after Jermaine Kearse made that catch, it felt like after the Tyree catch before
We felt like
your
that
time,
as a defense.
right? Like here it goes. They're going to win this game.
And
They're
for
gonna win
me,
this
it
game.
was David Tyreek and Mario Manningham. I played in the Mario Manningham
that's right,
game.
right.
He's on the sideline.
that-
It's like a
Great
half
throw.
an inch, and
Right.
it was like he catches the ball, and we're like, he's out of bounds. And then you look up, and you're like, holy shit, he's in.
Right.
And it was like, yo, and I remember I was in the flat. I was covering, I think Marshawn Lynch was in the flat, and I turned around, and I was like, how the hell did Kearse just catch the ball? Like, I can't believe I'm about to lose my second Super Bowl on, like, one of these ridiculous catches.
Right.
It was. You're sitting
But it's
there like,
hard to put the air
unbelievable.
back in the balloon after that happens, and you're out there on the field. You just feel
Exactly.
like it's just
Then
it's
the team
over.
calls a stupid slant, and you go, "Oh, hey, we're back. We win the Super
Some
Bowl
people
again."
say stupid slant. I say it's one of the best calls in NFL history.
It gets back to the walkthrough.
It
No,
wasn't
no.
a defensive call.
But remember,
We
it was
did.
the
Yep.
walkthrough.
Yep.
Right.
Ernie Adams saw it somewhere.
Good old Ernie.
And they
Ernie.
practiced it. And
I tell people all the time, I love Malcolm. If they run any other route, Malcolm's standing in there for the slant. And if they break out, it's an easy touchdown.
Right.
It's the easiest
Went all
touchdown.
in on that.
Because, like, that's the way Malcolm was as a rookie. He was behind Darrell Reeves, Brandon Brown, or Kyle Arrington, Logan Ryan. He was so deep on the depth chart when he got in there. He just went and played. So when he messed up in practice, he messed up in a Super Bowl practice, and Bill's cursing him out. So I know as soon as he got in there, he's like, Browner's going to jam the point.
Yep.
Go get the slant. Go
Right.
get. Because most guys would have just went to break up that pass.
Right.
You don't go try to catch that ball in that situation, and Mount goes and catches the ball because
Right.
he knows this is the one thing Bill told me, that when they get in the red zone, this is what they're going to do.
Right.
And that's why I think that play's so unbelievable.
Oh, it's amazing.
Brandon
It
Browner
really
was
is.
the unsung hero of that play, too.
Oh.
Jamming.
Yeah, great jam.
And creating the opportunity
And that
for
was
Malcolm
his
to go get
mentality
it.
when he got there in training camp. in training camp, like if a running back catches the ball, you'll thud him up a little bit. You'll give him a little shoulder pad. James White catches the ball in the flat. We're in cover 2, so Browner's just sitting there 5 to 8 yards deep by the sideline, and James White turns the corner, and B takes him out. And everybody's like, hey. He was like, this football. This is what we do in football. And it was like
Sounds
that
like Rodney
Harrison.
Yeah.
It was like Rodney, when Rodney came and they talked about he hit Kevin Falk.
Right.
That was Browner on our 2014 Patriot team.
Right.
Yep, no doubt about it.
Like one other thing I want you to hit on a little bit with the 49ers, right? Because we've talked about this during the year, and I think it's an interesting, good point of just like the 49ers and 21 personnel, right? What does that do, right? 2 backs, 1 tight end. Everybody thinks that's always a running thing. I know it gave you issues because you mentioned it to me during the year. When Shanahan and the Niners would play us in 21, we didn't know how to play it, right? So kind of unpack that for the viewers out there.
One of the key phrases is 21's not 21. And like you just said, when we hear 21 personnel, we think the 2 wide receivers either together on one side or opposite. We got that.
Right.
George Kittle's a tight end. He's going to be in tight end formation next to the tackle. The fullback is going to be in front of Christian McCaffrey, the running back.
Right.
But then they break the huddle. It's like, oh, man, they have Juszczyk. Is he going to be at a tight end position? Is he going to be split out? Is he going to be the only back in the backfield? And now McCaffrey split out. So it used to give us trouble because what we would normally do is if you go 21 personnel, we would go base personnel. So now we have 3 bigger defensive linemen on the field, D tackles, D ends, whatever you want to call them. We would have 4 linebackers. 2 outside linebackers or defensive ends, 2 linebackers inside, and now you come out there, we go base personnel, we got this big group ready to stop the run. Kyle Shanahan comes out, everybody's spread out, it's empty formation, so now it's Dante Hightower.
Right, he's 270 pounds.
It's Brandon Spikes when I first got there, it's Gerard Mayo. It's these guys one-on-one with a running back, and it's like, this is not really, it's not really what we kind of signed up for. Like, we want to go play the run, and that's the pressure it puts on the defense.
You said earlier, and you're absolutely right, when you're in the media, you always win, and more importantly, you never lose. However, there are ways we lose, and that is when we pick games because they expect us to pick them, and we get them wrong. So, your first Super Bowl, as a member of the media, are you going to get it right, or are you going to get it wrong?
Being a guy played in 5 Super Bowls, won 3 of them, pat myself on the back a little
pat yourself on the back.
I lost 2 of them.
I know these
Lost
games.
2 of them.
I know. You're also
always negative, Florio.
He
had to make sure he said it 3 times. You lost 2 of them.
I want to add on too. You're also the asshole who was 9 minutes late to the show. I just wanted to add that in too.
That has nothing to do with picking the winner. We don't need that. You don't pick against the guy that is the guy.
Yes.
I'm going Mahomes.
I hear you.
And he's let me down twice. For our Sunday night games, opening the season Thursday. We're in Kansas City. I picked Kansas City over Detroit.
Well, I did too. I mean, that was Chubb's Tony.
Then we picked Kansas City over Green Bay.
Right.
They lose again.
That was Chubb's referees not calling pass interference, right? I mean, right.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm.
But he's not going to lose the Super Bowl. He's chasing Tom. He'll say he's not, but he is.
And my wife was like, how could you pick Kansas City? They're chasing us. And I was like, they're chasing nothing. Like, we already did that. Be happy if they catch us. They talk about what we did. That's the cool. If not,
raises your platform.
No one talks about it. But all of New England, anytime I pick Kansas City, they're like, "How could you?"
Right.
It's I just want to pick and be right. If I'm not right, then I get cursed out. If I pick them.
Great job. One thing to remember, though, if you're going to drop an S-bomb, you're allowed to. You just got to apologize after you do. You did it 3 times. You got to say sorry, London, or sorry, Manchester.
I'm
sorry,
so
Birmingham.
sorry. Whenever I sit next to Sim, it's just all the bad language comes out. Then you have negative Florio over here. I got to meet that energy.
Yeah. So next time, don't be 9 minutes late, and I won't be negative. How about that?
The good thing is, you guys have legends coming around. I'm looking at Adrian
Peterson's
You guys should have cut me off 5 minutes ago so you get AP on here so he doesn't walk away.
All right, shut up. We're running.
We'll be back with Adrian Peterson.
There,
Thanks, Devin. We'll be back with Adrian Peterson right after this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.